Hi everyone, this is Peaches,
I'm Maya.
And I'm Jamila.
and we are PMJ, and we are back with this fourth episode. And I know you guys were like, "Oh, it's gonna be another 2 weeks," but surprise, it's not. So we have some more juicy topics to talk about, and we're just gonna dive right in like we normally do. So let's just do it. So I typically always start, and as like the last episode, again, I'm going to bring forth some type of a topic. I'm not going to say this one particularly is a relationship based one, but it's a question about how we view women, okay?
Ooh.
And this is dear to my heart. I'm a woman, or women. So, open discussion. Is a woman independent if she is getting housing assistance, food stamps, and welfare?
I would say yes, just because you need a little help doesn't define the person that you are.
I was a little worried because you guys were like really quiet after I asked, so I was like, "Oh no!"
We trying to
Like,
get.
what does that mean?
Can we
No,
let us?
I was just trying to think. I was just trying to think. I was like, I mean, I agree too. Like sometimes we need help. A woman needs help when it comes to raising a family. Uh, Nowadays, we are noticing that not all homes are blessed with a father and a mother at the same time. So, sometimes a woman might need extra help. And I feel like, she's still being independent. She's taking care of her household. She's making sure that she has a roof over her children's head. They're being fed. They have enough money to pull in the supplies and make everything work. So I feel like, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
This is true. I agree. My problem is if she is solely dependent on these things and this is the only way she intends to live, I have an issue with that. And then I might say that no, she is not independent because she is just trying to live off of other means instead of getting out there and hustling like any other woman would, whether, she was in a relationship, married or not. So as long as her goal is not to stay on these assistants and to try to elevate herself, I would say she's independent, but if she's content with collecting a check, collecting food stamps, being on Section 8 and stuff like that, then I have to question, like, what are you really doing? Because you shouldn't be content, with that, because when another mother or another woman comes through and needs that, she can't get in there because you've been on there for 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
there has to be some type of an elevation unless you just physically, mentally, emotionally cannot. And those are people who have mental disorders. Those are people who have disabilities and stuff like that. Okay, I understand. But if you are capable of getting up, working a job, don't have any disabilities, don't have any defects that will prevent you from doing so, then you're just lazy. You
Yeah. And
know?
these are our opinions. So, everybody
And
has a
right. And
right
I'm
to
saying, like,
opinionate.
have your moment, but it shouldn't be something where you're like I said, you shouldn't be passing down Section 8.
Right.
Right.
You know what I
And,
mean? Like,
and each generation, like you need to instill in your children, hey, I had to use this for a little while, but I don't want you to live that type of lifestyle.
Right.
I believe that happened with my mom. She had to use it for a little while, and she was like, I don't want to get used to this. I don't want people to think that I'm a handout and I need people to invest in me. I'm gonna get it on my own, and I'm gonna rock this single mother thing out until somebody comes into my life that can, help me build a family, or, who's really interested in me, you know?
I feel like
Oh, but wait. Oh, okay. Come on. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
no, you could go ahead.
No, because I'm getting ready to change the topic. It kind of like goes with the same issue that we're talking about, but I'm finna flip the script. But go ahead, Mia.
No, I just want to say it also. I think some women get comfortable, and it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to pocket money. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then when you start, having family members and friends come and stay with you just because you on low income, you know, it starts to become like kind of like a gimmick. But I also want to throw in there also we got to realize how upset we get when like the president when it comes to immigrants and how they live. They huddle together to make sure that they can make ends meet. And a lot of times they get paid severely lower than we do. But at the same time, those are the same, people that want to get upset at those people that's also trying to do the same thing, trying to make a honest living, just speaking to the ones that abuse the system, want to make an honest living, but at the same time, like if you have the means to get ahead, like let's just say this. My mother, when I grew up in a trailer park in Clarksville, Tennessee, but my mother didn't allow herself to stay in a trailer park. My mom worked day in, day out. As an executive chef, she moved. Her goal was to gain money to get us out of the trailer park. And that was her main goal. I mean, everybody that she worked with knew about it. When she got her home, they was like, man, Miss T, you was serious. You really wanted to get that home. And I feel like, sometimes we have to have a goal. If you're trying, I can understand if you're really out there and you really just can't make ends meet, things of that nature, got a lot of kids. I can understand that. I can understand that you're doing the best you can. But for those that are out there that's really just, well, I'm just gonna stick it until I lick it, whatever it may be, until I get, get in trouble for something.
What?
And I also sometimes I am not gonna lie, sometimes I blame the system too. Because they have all access to everything else. And then people like me, when I fall on hard times, I still make too much money. Y'all know what I'm saying?
True.
Mm-hmm.
This
This
is
is
true.
true. This is
So
really
let's just
true.
be real about it.
This is
Yeah.
really true.
There's
It's
a
not
there's a
fair.
gap. There's a gap where it helps but it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Right, right. Because there are other people who really need that assistance. I believe, like Maya with your family, I'm not going to say any names, it's like, she only got a set limit for her food stamps
Mhm.
and she's elderly. What in the world? Why are you limiting for an elderly woman? Well, who gives you the right to say, "Oh, she only gets this amount to
Exactly.
survive
They put
for
their
a
time
week or
in.
two"?
Right.
Well, they're
That
plugging it
doesn't make
into
sense.
an equation that
But
when you
some
get done with the equation, this is how much comes out. This is what we're giving you because this is how they're trying to be fair.
that's not fair. If you don't know how many bills this person has to deal with, you don't know how much they're gonna have at the end of the day to
Especially,
make ends meet.
yes. And now we're living in a society where all of us, we may not even see Social Security because
Right.
no
Oh,
matter
I'm
how
so mad
much
about
we
that.
get taxes, no matter how much we pay taxes, let's really talk about it. I'm a married woman. Peaches, you're married. Jamila, you're
Mhm.
single. Um, and wanting to be with someone. But let me tell you why. I didn't mean to single y'all out like that. But like as a married woman, I haven't seen a tax return since I was single. I am
Mhm.
owing every year, and I've been married for almost 5 years. So for a person that has been working, since 16 years old, and you're going to tell me that I'm putting my time in, I'm still working, I'm still not going to be able to see my Social Security, and I'm paying taxes. Mind you, the taxes that we put in, we don't even get fully back. So when are we going to be able to really fall on if something happens to us? You know what I'm saying? We're living in a
Right.
hope.
This is where, um, people have always told us, put some money to the side,
Yeah.
save something,
True.
invest it, flip it. And, there are there are courses out there, and I know I need to do better. It's just so hard. It's like, where do you start? Where do you begin? How do you understand these things? And
Because
really,
you get it, but at the same time, like, there's also the thought process, if something happens to you, God forbid, you can't take it with you.
Or we get into a
this is
pandemic
true.
like the COVID-19.
So
Right.
if you, let's say, for instance, were to pass away and you don't have any children, or let's say family around that you would get that money to, you know,
Yeah.
but you could have been
Right.
living
But
and
I'm,
enjoying. So, like, it's like
this
that
is true.
balance that
Right.
sometimes just doesn't seem right, because you dang if you spend it, you dang if you save it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
But it's like, okay, realistically, sometimes if you want to have something on the side, you know, take, in the wise words, have something else, your savings build up for you, just in case, like Maya said, a pandemic could happen, or you may lose your job. You have money saved up that you pay yourself. That's what
Yeah.
I've always been told. Pay yourself, so you'll have money set aside for your fundings, for your savings, or for whatever that you need for emergency. That's all
Right.
I got to say. Okay, so back to what we were talking about with government funding. So, how do you guys feel about people who are um, adding other people's children on their tax returns to get extra money? Now, I don't understand how the census does not come back and count how many members are in your family. If you lied on your taxes
Me.
and you added extra children, and then when you do your census, are we not doing our census to avoid all of that? Like, how does that work? How do you ladies feel about that? Like, let's just say me, you, me, Peach, and Maya, we have children. Well, I don't have any kids, and Maya has uh 3 kids. And she's like, or I might have a need, and I'm like, Maya, can I borrow one of your kids so I can add them on my taxes so I can get some extra money? How do you all feel about that? And are you using some of that tax return money for your children to set them up for like a college fund or something like that? Or are you using it for necessities that you need for your household? That's just a question that I have. How y'all feel about the first question I
so
asked?
Question.
something for me is, one, I'm never letting anybody claim my kid but myself. So, or any of my kids, because I take care of them kids
Yeah.
myself.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so that would never be a thing for me. But I have heard of people letting people claim their kids on their taxes for them to get a bigger refund. Now, I really
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it is that they are to gain by doing this. Maybe the person will break them off a certain amount of money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I really don't know what the person who is letting other people claim their kids has to gain. Now, I know this is a big argument between couples as far as who in the relationship gets to claim the kids on their
Mm-hmm.
taxes, or whatever, and where it becomes a big argument in that situation is, one person doesn't want to get, the other person getting the money, and
Mm-hmm.
then they not have access to that money.
Right.
Right.
It's really kind of a stupid argument, but a serious one, because again, like, for me with my taxes, one, I get some things that we just want
Mm-hmm.
because you deserve it, you work hard, you deserve to spoil yourself. But then
Right.
also I make sure I do stuff with it that is necessary, like pay some bills, you
Mm-hmm.
know get stuff that is needed. And I try to sit some away as well to save, but sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, because you figure,
Mm-hmm.
even though people, when they claim kids, get a lot of money, where you see the real money come from is when you have multiple kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So my one kid, I'm getting enough back, but I'm not getting what somebody with like 4 kids would get.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where the big bank is coming from, as terrible
Right.
as that sounds. So
But it's like for those that do have multiple children, like, I want to know out there. Are you that just came across to me one day. We were doing our census at the household, and I asked my mom. I was like, "Well, mother, did you ever set any money aside for us to think about college? Just a little bit every time you got your tax returns. Did you guys invest in putting a little money aside for us so when we got ready for college, we can use it for whatever we needed? You know what I'm saying? That was just something that came up to me. Like, um, is that something that is that what parents are thinking about? I don't know.
A lot
So
of times, no.
we are thinking about it, but the probability that a lot of us, um, especially lower income families and families who don't have like other people like a spouse or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like we're thinking about it, but the likelihood that we're able to do it is slim to none. And all people are like, oh, just put a couple dollars away here and there. Sometimes those couple of dollars really add up between the
Yeah.
grocery bill, laundry, whatever you could think of. And kids have unprecedented um
Expenses.
expenses. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's a very hard concept. It's easy in thought, but harder to actually execute for someone in that type of a situation. Um, there's a lot of considerations with that too. If you consider the racial drawbacks, like black people, just for an example, you know, kind of have to run this race that is filled with obstacles, filled with the fact that we started later. We're trying to create this generational wealth,
Mm-hmm.
out of not having anything.
Yeah.
Or you could be the first person in your family that ever had any kind of money. So that money, even though you're bringing in a lot, you're trying to carry a whole family, not
Right.
just your immediate, but extended too, because they'll end up calling you up when you make some money too. Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? So now you're carrying a whole family, immediate, extended, trying to make sure everybody's okay. That's hard.
Okay,
Yeah.
pause. Wait. Okay, pause, 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 pause. So you say helping out immediate family. Now, would you ladies consider helping out those family members who really don't keep in contact with you or, really made themselves present in your life? Or like, how sometimes we might have a distant uncle or distant aunt, like maybe we'll send out a Christmas card or a Thanksgiving card, but they don't necessarily make the time to call, or both parties of the family call each other and keep up with each other. How do you ladies feel about that when it comes to supporting family? Are you family orientated where you're like, my family is my family, I don't care if we haven't spoke, I'm gonna hold down the fort for them? How do y'all feel about that, since we're
I'm
talking
gonna
about
say I'm gonna say my family is my family during certain times of need.
mm,
Okay. The
okay.
reason why I say that is I've had many occurrences and I love my family dearly. I tried,
Mm-hmm.
I had one cousin. I was there. You couldn't tell us nothing growing up. She was way younger than I was. But I loved
Mm-hmm.
her to death. But as soon as she got grown and I reached out to her, just want to see how she was doing, my little so and so, it wasn't not even 2 minutes later that, hey, Maya, do you think you can give me this? And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I have it, but I'm gonna say no and see if she asks again. She asked again. I said, okay, I'll send you what you need. The next time, it wasn't it wasn't like a genuine conversation. It was more like, hey, what you doing? So and so, get the conversation out. Oh, I was wondering, and it becomes into a money thing. I have a
Mm-hmm.
second thing, and I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
say any names because it's people that's close to my family.
Right.
At the time of my cousin's, funeral where he was murdered, someone had given some money for the funeral
Mm-hmm.
that that's close to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What happened was, ever since then, all we hear from you is I need, I need, I need. There's never is, how can I help? There's never is, I'm going to come and see you. There never
Mm-hmm.
is, well, what you need, I got it. Let me send it to you. Now, I'm not going to say this is my immediate family, but it is next to my immediate family. You know, those that are married in.
Yeah.
Okay. Because in my family, we work around taking care of each other. But those that are married in, not always the same type of family, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, Peach, how do you feel about that?
I
The
was
question
just
that I
gonna say,
asked.
for me, here's my thing. I will help the way I can help,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to put myself in a rut trying to help you, because what
Mm-hmm.
good does it do any of us? Let's say, me and that person, if let's say they need $500 and $500 is all I have, for my bills that I already allotted, and I give them the $500, but now I'm, having to rob Peter to pay Paul to do what I need to do. And then, for them to turn around and come again and they're still the same, the problem's not fixed. They still need money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it will become a pattern. So I'm not going to help you further than what I have means to help you with. And what I will help you with is how to prevent you needing to have this thing happen again, depending on what we're talking about. So, like, if it's like
Okay.
money, okay, how can I help you get a job so where you can, either make more money or make money, period. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And, also considering what's happening, if you need a place to stay and you're having, problems, keeping your apartment or whatever you're living in afloat, then maybe you need to come move in with me. Now that's considering what type of how they live, but
Yeah.
maybe you need to come live with me so you can like get yourself together and we contribute to
Mm-hmm.
each other, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
maybe work out to where you're back out again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
problem is when you have people who will help others but then
It's,
hurt themselves trying to help others, which
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Right. Right. I just
It's
wanted to get y'all's opinion.
a great metaphor I learned, um because I have an issue with this personally myself, like, when I'm emotionally drained and everything like that, and this is a good therapy piece too, you know and you're just a giver and giver and giver, and you just give to people without being poured into, or
Mm,
taking
yeah.
things back. You
mm,
find
Yeah.
yourself depleted and struggling, and sometimes lonely, depending on what the situation is. And
right.
one of the greatest metaphors that I was told was, picture yourself on a plane, right? Plane is flying. All of a sudden, something happens and the oxygen masks fall down. You're with, let's say, your kid or someone else that maybe depend on you, right? So they're like, who gets the oxygen mask first? Naturally, people who give and give of themselves will say, well, I'm going to make sure such and such has the mask on so they can be okay, and then I'll get mine on. But if you think about that, when you're doing that for them, you're suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're saved, but you done died. You know what I'm saying? Or you done caused yourself some great harm while you're in that situation. So the smarter thing to do would be put your own oxygen mask on first, and then assist whoever else you can assist.
Mm-hmm.
And once that was played to me, I was like, whoa,
It makes sense.
that makes so much sense.
It makes
Right.
sense. Especially, I think that this is a good segment for a lot of people because people that's like me, like I'm a giver. That's just my heart. But I've also had to grow up knowing when I need to pour into people that have poured into me.
Yeah.
Because there have been times where I have, and I'm not a person, I'm not a beggar. I will usually, it will have to take a hard time for me to ask somebody for something. Um, and I can say that sometimes when you're at your lowest and the people that you have helped sometimes are never there to catch you when you need them most. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And you would think, and I know everybody, those people may have had a hard time, but, and I'm not always talking about monetarily. There's other ways that you can help people, without having to give your last. But I think a lot of times people also feel like what theirs is theirs, and if you're willing to give it, is still mine. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
when are you able to return the favor to the person that gave it to you?
Oh
Where is the thank you?
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I asked for it or anything, but I also want you to recognize, and all of you know the situation. I want you to recognize sometimes how good of your friends that you have it. You know what I'm saying? Because that can really break a chain, break a bridge between me and you. You know what I'm saying? If you can't recognize if we're friends, if I got it, you got it, the type of friendship that we have, we're all best friends, and then you just be like, I'm just gonna forget you. What you did is what you did. That was then, this is now. How does that make you feel? Like, that makes you feel horrible.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that, you know, there's a lot of people that helped you along the way. Don't forget
Mm-hmm.
about the people that helped you along the way. That good old saying that says, don't forget about, I can't really remember it, but don't forget about where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't forget about the people that have helped you across the bridge, because you could have died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
all I got to say.
Well, I mean, we kind of got off the original topic, which was what considers a woman independent if she's on assistance of some kind. I think we all answered what we think about that. What
We
do
all
you
talk.
guys think out there? Comment and let us know your opinions. Maybe we could further have a conversation. Maybe there's something that we didn't say that needs to be considered, or an opinion that maybe you didn't hear.
Yes.
Just let us know. So
Yeah,
we're
let us
going
know.
to move on to the next thing. So, Maya.
So we're going to switch it over just a little bit here. So, rah, rah, everybody knows everybody likes Tiger King. Okay.
Um,
So now the
Peach
Hills,
hasn't watched it. I'm sick of
I
her.
know, but I'm pretty sure she's seen it.
No, she
So
hasn't, and
now
I'm getting
I'm,
tired.
I'm giving a big shout out to the Hillsborough County Sheriff Department for reopening this case. Okay. Now I've read that that the source Time magazine, Hillsborough Sheriff Department ended up reopening the case because it was given a lot of views from celebrities, from people, since it's due to the COVID-19. So they wanted
Mm-hmm.
to reopen it, in hopes that people would come forward with whatever, I mean, they're taking theories from people, whoever knows anything about the situation. So now we know that Carol Baskin, as well as, they're trying to figure out, what really happened. So I just feel like we're going to talk about this a little bit. I feel that it could go one or two ways. I feel that, number one, if she did kill him, if they did search everywhere, why didn't y'all search the sewer? And why didn't you test the tigers? And there could have been some type of bone fragment somewhere if you say that you've looked everywhere. Second off, because the DNA is left in some of the tigers' skins in their mouth, and they can now test it to see if it was human flesh. So that could have been something that they could have done to determine whether or not, he was ate. You know what I'm saying? But on the second side, and I'll see what side y'all are going with, we know that his name was Jack Don Lewis. And we know he
Mm-hmm.
had a girlfriend in Costa Rica. Another point is, did you talk to the girlfriend? Did you find her? sheriff's department.
Oh yeah, he did
Then
have a
two,
girlfriend on the
he
side.
wrote a
Okay.
letter setting her up. Number three, Costa Rica. People in Costa Rica knows how to make IDs. He could have changed his identity. Could have had somebody, criminal do it. That's why they can't find nothing. And I feel like at some point in time, the security guard, because he had security guards around him, taking him where he needs to go or whatnot. I feel like somebody covering for him. They're like,
Mm,
oh, we ain't seen him for 6 weeks. Everybody get
Mm.
the story. Something ain't right there. I
mm.
feel like you're setting her up. Why would you write a letter saying that she killed? Remember, this is what happened. I died. This is what she did. How you gonna put in the letter how she gonna kill you? And then say, this is the reason why I'm dead. I'm gonna leave it right here. And then all of a sudden, come on now. I sometimes believe that he may be in Costa Rica.
This could be a possibility. I need to rewatch it because what did you say?
What y'all think about that? What y'all think about that?
Well, it can only be me and you because Peach hasn't watched it, so she can't say nothing about it.
I'm gonna need you to
but
get on it, man. Out of here now.
um, I
You
just
okay?
think
Do I need to come do CPR? My license is expired.
See,
I don't know
I
how to
was
do
trying to
it.
be sneaky and take my pill in the middle of the podcast, and dang it, choke myself.
Somebody, please call 911.
But y'all go ahead and talk about the Tigers.
I don't know.
Don't
I'm
watch
really gonna have to rewatch it because I really wasn't paying attention like that.
it. Go back and jot down. We'll revisit this later because, of course, they're going to be bringing out some more information about what's going on. If anybody knows anything, we're going to put it out there since the sheriff's department, that's part of my background. I like to look into stuff that deals with crime. So if anybody knows anything, please reach out to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. They need to know what's going on. Your theological theories, whatever theory you got, they're taking it.
Mia is on the road. She is wishbone. She is over here getting all the clues and giving y'all all the tags and telling y'all to let's go for it and put Carol Baskin in jail. I'm so sick, but yeah, I don't know. It could be some shadiness. I just think it's really ridiculous. Again, when I said it the first time, with these
No,
people having these animals, stop it.
yeah,
Just leave these big cats alone.
The big cats.
Dang.
but go ahead.
Yes.
Right?
You don't have nothing to say.
Go ahead. Speak your mind. Or forever hold your peace.
Look, I said from the very beginning, I refuse to watch this ratchetness.
Come on, so we can do a TikTok.
I'm just not interested. Like, I think the story is interesting according to what everybody's talking about, but I'm just not interested in sitting down and watching the documentary or whatever you would call it, that they have out. I like the secondhand and I like the songs, Carol Baskin.
Killed her
Husband,
husband,
whacked them.
whacked him.
I like that. Yeah. But other than that, I am not invested in Tiger King at all. I'm sorry. I just wasn't a fan. And I know I'm not the only one. So if you're out there and you didn't like Tiger King or you didn't watch it, comment, let me know. Let me know that you're out there with me. But
I need to know what y'all think. Because somebody thinking the way I'm thinking. It's only one of the two options. I need y'all to let me know. Chime in.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go on and close that because I don't know nothing about it. and Mill need to rewatch it because she be distracted.
Listen,
So
you're not gonna come on here and tell my business. Don't tell them that. It's true. It's really
Yeah.
true. I be
Exactly. At least you
what?
admit it. I'm glad you admit it.
Listen, I be doing too many things at the same time. I could be watching TV and like on the internet doing an online course that I need to
But if you
finish, and then
multitask, you got to be good at it. Like if I'm going to multitask, I got to be able to talk to you, do my note, do whatever, and actually know what's going on.
Right.
I kind of know I go in and out. That's just
We be
something that I
talking about
do.
something good, and we at the good part, and we be like, yeah, girl, so this and this happened, and she'd be like, wait, tell the
No,
story
no.
again. I ain't hear it.
Listen.
I don't got
Sometimes
telling
it
that
doesn't.
story again.
Sometimes it doesn't pertain to me, so I'm like, oh, this has nothing to do with me. So let me just mentally check out and focus on this. Yeah.
But she a part of the conversation. So how you just decide in the middle of the conversation
Sometimes,
this doesn't pertain to me?
sometimes, sometimes you need to take a break because sometimes things can get overwhelming, like too many debates, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not finna get involved with all of this because this is too much.
Too many SpongeBob's in your head laughing at one time. That's what's wrong with
Why
you.
are you telling everybody my business? Because
but
it's
but
my business. It's my business. It don't need to be
you
everybody
know
else's
I
business.
love you dearly.
Look, don't do
So
this.
I'm going to leave it alone and I'm going to let you present what you wanted to talk about this podcast.
Yes,
I'm sorry, y'all.
this.
Now I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead, Mel.
She's zoning out now. SpongeBob is going
You need to hush.
Bob,
That
Bob,
is
what?
not what's going on. All right, y'all done? So I can. All right. Okay. This is Jeopardy. Do 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 do.
Let's see if I'm gonna win.
All right, ladies.
I'm so
I
sorry, y'all. I'm coughing and stuff. I'm sorry. That pill messed me up. I'm sorry.
well, please don't die on our account.
It'll help her.
So, last week, the last day of the month, April 30th,
All right.
Jeopardy, they played. And so there was a contestant who apparently identified Janet Jackson as Ariana Grande. Y'all,
What?
Janet, you nasty boy.
What?
Nasty boy.
You don't mix them two up.
Thank you. How are you going to be on live TV and tell us as a community and say, who is Janet Jackson? I mean, Ariana Grande?
I'm better at that.
Okay. So this
Oh,
is what the answer was. Let me read it to you. It says, answer. As the recipient of 2018 Icon Award, she took control and took to the stage in her first live TV performance in nearly a decade. Can I finish? I am in my look. Can I read it? Can I read it
go
again?
ahead.
Thank you. Answer. As a recipient of 2018 Icon Award, she took control and took the stage in her first live TV performance in nearly a decade. The contestant said, "Beep, who is Ariana Grande?" What? They even had a video of Janet Jackson doing the performance that night. Like they showed the performance video. And so CNN wanted to give the contestant the benefit of the doubt because Janet Jackson now is wearing her I can't even talk, her high ponytail. And like he compared the high ponytail with Ariana Grande.
Janet Jackson originated the high ponytail.
Okay, you better go ahead and say that. Okay. So I'm just
Well,
I'm just
actually,
I'm
not
just appalled.
my age back then.
You
Huh?
said
Saw
what?
had a high hope ponytail back then.
Who?
Sade. Y'all don't know Sade?
Yeah, we do know Sade, but we're just saying, like, Sade's ponytail was braided.
But she still had a high ponytail.
I'm talking about that wavy,
She
crinkly
had
hair.
the big ponytail. Janet always rocked the big floof ponytail and did
Yeah.
her videos. Rhythm of the Nation. She
Yes.
had the ponytail with the hat on. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, how you gonna get a black woman? First of all, Ariana is not black, okay? So I'm offended. I'm like,
Nowhere close.
why? Nowhere close to being black. See, this is where the culture is getting out of control. How is it that most people are acceptive of like celebrities like Ariana Grande, the Kardashians, who plump their lips, who are growing butts, but it was frowned upon for black women to have our naturally full lips and our behinds. I don't understand that. Why is it acceptable that now when these women like the Kardashians, I'm not hating, but like they can tan themselves and they can try to be as dark as they want to. They are rocking the cornrows. We've been rocking the cornrows forever. I used to always mimic Alicia Keys and all of her hairstyles back in middle school, and nobody put me on the Essence magazine. Of course, you know, Alicia Keys did all the things. Like she got the recognition, but still, we are applauding these women who are not of African American descent who are going out on the runway trying to look like women of color like us. And it's really sending off a bad message to me. How do y'all feel about this?
I feel like there is a lot of culture appropriation that's going on nowadays. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the Kardashians are a special case because their heritage is Armenian, which those women, from what I understand, typically are thicker and can be have a little bit of a darker tint of skin. So
Mm-hmm.
I also kind of see it a little more for them is a lot of them have interracial babies, meaning, Northwest and all of Kim's kids are, interracial kids. Chloe has an interracial kid. Kylie has an interracial kid. So I think part of it could be unconsciously them trying to, let their kids see that, maybe things that may grow on them, let them see it on their mom. Like I'm just saying unconsciously. I'm not saying that's the case or whatever. That's like hopeful thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there is a lot of, and this has been a debate for a long time, that there is a culture jacking going on.
Mm-hmm.
Where stuff that originated with African American community is
Mm-hmm.
being jacked by the white community, like braiding hair. I actually
Mm-hmm.
just saw a post the other day where there was a whole bunch of white girls with their hair braided in the box braids. If you guys can remember Poetic Justice, Janet Jackson's hair on
Yeah.
there, um, their hair were braided like that, and that's not a typical hairstyle for, white women. So the post said something to the effect like, who said white women can't look good with box braids or something like that. And
They need
some
to
of them
cut it. They need
some
to
of
cut
them
it.
had color hair and all that stuff. So it's just like, for whatever reason, slightly Trump motivated, but for whatever reason, there's this like resurfacing of the cultural debates going on, pointing out the differences of people, Hispanics, black, white, whatever.
I feel like it comes with the times. I feel like it's like a, what do they call it? A trend. I feel like it's a trend. I feel like at first you hated us, I feel like then the next 10 years you love us. You wanna, you wanna have bodies like us. But I also feel like it's brought on from men too. Um, as far as, because there are a lot of interracial, couples nowadays. I feel like also, you know, I'm gonna say this, y'all. Just like they say, black men got big dicks. You know what I'm saying?
Say it like it
Oh,
is.
But it was a trend. And then guess what? One of my friends was like, big feet ain't matching up. Welcome to our world. Everything ain't the same size just because somebody's tall. You know what I'm saying? It's like a trend. I feel like they want to be always, want to put on front page. You know what I'm saying? Then, like, when everybody has a good hairstyle, they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta try that. Just like dreads. Dreads originated from, the islands. But still, like, we have the type of hair texture, for that type of style. It takes a lot of managing and tacking to their hair to even do dreads. And I also feel like, what was the point about, who said white people can't have braids? Are we in a war? Who told you that you couldn't have who told you you couldn't have braids? If you're gonna put it out there, say who said it.
Well, the saying was, it was said that white girls don't look good with box braids, not that they couldn't have it.
Okay. I was about to say, now come on, if you gonna post on there that you can't have it, post who said it. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. Now,
Yeah, like I don't know, like I said, there are a lot of things that are cultural appropriated. You there are good and bad ones. Like, for instance, a bad one would be assuming that all black people like fried chicken and watermelon. That is not the case. I happen to hate watermelon as far as like the
or
fruit. I just
Twinkies.
don't like eating it. But I love fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? But we all have our differences. Like Jamila might not like fried chicken or watermelon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not good to stereotype. That's what it is. It's a
mm-hmm,
stereotype.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
People, because there are people out there that defy those stereotypes, and then you end up in which you could be rejected in your culture. Like, black people use their black card. You know, white people are trying to act like black people, or whatever they're trying to do. That type of stuff happens. So it's a conversation that's never going to end, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always going to be that difference. You know what I'm saying? Even with the body builds, you know most black women are born, to grow up to have these shapely bodies. Our body shapes and bone densities are thicker and heavier than white, women and men, as black people. So there's a lot of changing that needs to be done, but there's a lot of things that, we just have to recognize that it's just what it is. Like for instance, those medical charts, the standard needs to stop being a standard for all people around, because like I just said, with the bone density of black people, we're going to weigh a little more because of that factor than maybe the scale of what is based on, which is white people. So we're obese if we're the same, if we're a little heavier than a let's say an average, white girl, because this is bigger, or this is bigger, or this is bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
even though like you want something to base it off of as just the base, but you got to consider those differences and stop like labeling people on something that they shouldn't be. So, like I said, that's a loaded statement, but I think everybody
Mm-hmm.
gets the gist of what I'm trying to say. And I feel like that ties back into the fact that, of the cultural appropriation. Excuse me, got tongue tied. And you know, Mill, if you don't mind, that brings me to a good subject that I've
Okay.
read. since we're talking about culture appropriation.
All
So
right.
I came across a post
Mm-hmm.
of Young Jeezy
Mm-hmm.
and Jeannie Mai. Young Jeezy is a rapper. Jeannie Mai is she's a fashion like person, but she also is on the real. And the saying was, I'm trying to find it here real quick. I have it in my phone. Well, my tablet. Okay. So this one post from Claude Gray, I don't know who that is, but this is the person that I saw it from. So it says, I'm proud of you, boy, and she's beautiful. Asian and Hispanic women have a level of loyalty that most black women wouldn't even understand. Congratulations. Hashtag NGZ, hashtag SLMG. Don't know what that means. And then a guy reposted that post and added that black men are currently at a power struggle with black women. Asian and Hispanic women are taught to give men the utmost respect. Black women are being conditioned to act like men, therefore, they do not have the same level of respect, which causes black marriages and black families to decline. It's deeper than what it appears.
Yes,
And
it
then
is.
somebody else reposted it and said, thoughts. So that was a lot.
That
That was a
was a
lot.
lot.
That was a lot. So, based off of what I just said, give me first thoughts.
Well, Peach, like you've always said, the king, the way he treats his queen is how she would act towards him. I feel like if you disrespect your woman and you're not listening to her because you think she's nagging at you, or you think she always has an attitude, or she's mean, are you not listening what she's asking of you? If she has to tell you over and over and over again, you're being disrespectful to that woman because she has asked you multiple times. Nicely, sometimes not so nicely. You can't understand it nicely. Okay, now I got to tell you like this so you can understand. I'm trying to communicate with you. Or the black man feels like they're not appreciated. All right, so do you think that we need to be praising you? Like, we get it. Like, you might fall on your fall on bad terms. You might lose your job. But as a black woman, I feel like some of us are encouragers. We're gonna lift that man up and tell him, "You can do this.
Yes.
Keep trying. Don't give up." There are women out there, but you also need to remember, black men, why you keep going for the same type.
Thank you.
Hmm.
That
If
was
you
my
can't, if you keep running into the same black woman,
thank
that
you.
has everything to do with you and your pickings.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to put you down, but did you compare the women in your life before you moved on? Did
Very
you
true.
try somebody new? Because every man is looking for, she got to look like this, and that, and she got to have these characteristics, and boom, you find her. You get out of that relationship, you're hurt. You go back into that same hurt relationship with somebody else that has those same characteristics that
Right?
you just left from.
Yes.
And then you
Very true.
tell yourself, I'm through with black women. I'm finna go with Hispanic. I'm finna go with Asian. I'm finna go with this white woman. Did you not compare it? Not all black women are the same.
True. And yet they
We
categorize.
might be right. We might be from. We might have the same. We might be black, but not every black woman. Like I said, it's the same. We cut from a different cloth. So, and I was talking to someone a long time ago when I was working at Walmart, and he realized, he was like, "You're different." I was like, "You doggone right, I'm different." I don't know who you used to talking to, but you need to get your life together. You know who I am. And I'm not saying that in a prideful way. I'm saying that out of respect. No, you will not walk all over me and treat me like anything. I am a princess.
Yes.
Know that. So if you do not come correct and treat me as if I'm special, no, you are not going to get that special. I'm not bending over backwards towards anybody. You want to be treated with respect, you need to show respect. Kings out there, men, my black men out there, you need to show respect. Do you act like this with your mother? Would you like anybody talking to your mom like that? Being disrespectful. You got to think about these types of things. And I just feel like, people have forgotten that part. It's all everybody selfish. Me, 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 me. She don't come home and cook for me all the time. I'm through with her. Did you think about how you treated her the whole week? So you want her to be a doormat. It seems like that's what you want her to be. Not say anything to you. We can communicate, we can talk, we don't have to get loud. And if it does go there, okay, it's a marriage, it's a relationship. Sometimes it has to get ugly in order for us to see the rainbow at the end.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do need to take it there because it's some things that we have kept bottled up inside and we just kept letting it pass over. And then when it's time to open up that can of worms, here we are in our feelings and emotional. And as a therapist, Peach, maybe you could give us a few pointers on that. I just feel like sometimes as a woman, sometimes I don't always speak my mind and I let it build up to the point to where I kind of like, okay, I've been nice about this. Now I'm on the edge and I'm finna go off. And it's not, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude, but that's just how I feel. And you just gonna have to accept that. And now you need to figure out how are you now going to make me feel safe? How are you now going to make me trust that your actions are true, that you're not gonna lie to me again, and that you really make a change? You
Let
say mouth work, but you're not putting in. You're saying that you are apologetic, but your actions don't speak louder than your words. That's all I'm all about. I'm sorry, Mia. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I'm just going to give another part of that too. Um, I don't think men think also, I think a lot of times men are very picky. And just off of what you said, here comes another man coming to you, and you already broke all over. He got to dig. You know what I'm saying? Just as well as a man. They don't think about that. They don't think how the previous man, broke you. They don't think about that. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want to dig into and show what they can do to fix it. They want a self
Right.
already made.
Right.
And I don't feel like they look at us in that type of entity. I feel like, and they also don't look at themselves in that type of entity until they grow to a certain standpoint or to a certain
Mm-hmm.
maturity level to recognize, I was really wrong. You know what I'm saying? I really broke her. And now I have to leave her to another man that got to add to the problem. You know what I'm saying? And then now
Mm-hmm.
another man adding to the problem, which causes us to be extra broken. And like you said, extra barrier. You got questions. You got to go through this. You got to go through that. You got to show me.
Yeah.
But a lot
Yeah. Yeah.
they don't want to have to do that. And a lot
Right.
of times it's easier, from what I've seen, sometimes it's easier to go to the other side because it's welcomed. It seems like it's, let go if they had a bad relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's
But
some
it's
how they start over.
right. But I don't understand how another woman. First of all, I just feel like with this, we also need to learn how to heal. And
Yes.
I'm learning about that. We need to learn how to heal from these hurts, these past traumas that have happened in our lives. We need to write them down and we need to go
Speaking
back
of
and we need
that,
to do the work.
I want to interject really quick a post that
Okay.
I, within seeing that one, I've also seen this one. And I think this young lady, I think her name is IVK. I'm not sure if that's how she says it, but
You
I
gotta
tried to
back up,
shout you out, whoever you are.
man.
But she said, I love black men, but it pains me that I've never had one that respected me or spoiled me or built me up or poured anything to me. It was always
Mhm.
me doing the giving, emotional support, financial support, etc. They've just took and took until I had nothing left and then yelled at me when they were the one that broke me. I believe in black love, but healthy black love is hard to come by and it's depressing. If
Another
she
Hit it
didn't
right
broken
say
on
a
the
barrier.
nail.
mouthful,
It's
Another broken barrier.
okay, okay, okay. Because I felt all of that. I was like going down memory lane, like dang, dang.
How
It's a lot. It's a lot that we got to work
it
on with
is
ourselves, and it's not fair. Sometimes I'm just like, why?
it really is a lot because, and let me reiterate again that we're not talking about all men. We are
Yeah.
talking about the men who this applies to, and you know who you are. You know, the point is you have to look at the situation from like this young lady just said. You know, I myself have been in many situations where I was expected to be a down ass chick, as they would call it back in the day. I was expected, if you got locked up, I need to bail you out. If you did this, I need to be right there with you. If you
Mm-hmm.
didn't come home till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I was supposed to be okay with that because you were
Mm-hmm.
coming home to me and all this stuff. I was expected to play a role that you wasn't playing on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we find a lot of times. Like for years, let's just take it back in history. Even though the black man was carrying the weight because he was out in the field, doing a lot of the grunt work, the women, one, were right there beside you.
Mm-hmm.
But two,
Right.
the women had it a little different because we were still trying to be wives to you, having your children, feeding those children, feeding you, feeding the master's children with our bodies and carrying the weight of being raped
Yes.
and stuff. Like,
And we didn't even ask for that.
And
That was
still have to keep the
something
head on our
that,
shoulders.
and you're
right.
looking for us to save you. Who saves us?
Right.
Thank you. Thank
Like,
you.
why can't you look at us and see that we have to come together to save each other? Because we was
Thank
both out
you.
there in the trenches, not just you.
Exactly.
Right.
Malcolm
Right.
X
Most
said,
unprotected person in the world is a woman, a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
It's
telling
like,
you.
when are we going to wake
Remember
up?
the last and
And
every
that's my issue now. Yeah, that's my issue now. I'm like, I I love my black men. I love my black men. But I cannot stand just how this generation has been being raised now. It's like, why can't I find somebody that's gonna help us grow? We're good people. Why can't I have somebody that's good for me? You know what I'm saying? Why is that I always got to fight? I feel like Sophia all my life. I had to fight. I had to fight. Daddy, my brothers, I said that I would give him this marriage and fight my husband. But anyway,
No, it would have been a lot more effective if you weren't breaking up.
yes.
oh man,
So
I
I've
just
been
feel like
trying to say it for a
so
while, but I didn't want to interrupt you talking because at least they could still get the audio
mm,
of it. But for whatever reason, you've been kind of cutting up.
I know, and I'm sick of it. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. The internet just don't want me to grade. They just trying to stop me. But I will not be.
But to put it politely, is you cannot ask of us something that you would not want us to ask of you. And you also have to think of how many of us black little girls grew up in homes where mothers were left without fathers for their children's for some bull crap,
Mm-hmm.
and you expect us to forget that upbringing, to forget how we had to watch our mothers be strong and be the dad and the mom for a lot of us, you
Right.
know. that's a hard thing to break and to get out of. And let's say we will try. You know, the problem is where you want submission to bull stuff. And that's one thing that we cannot and will not do is submit to some bull stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking for submission, make sure you're not putting on a platter stuff that can't be eaten.
Right. Very
Okay.
true.
Ooh, girl.
And that's all we need to say.
Yes.
Now, when
Very.
you looking for someone to just take anything from you, you go on and have whoever that is, whether they be Asian, Hispanic, white, purple, blue, whatever you could find. Go on and
On.
have it. But who
'Cause
won't
we will
settle
not.
for the
Right.
bull stuff is
Right.
us. And y'all can
Right.
take that to the bank because we going to be all right however it go.
What happened to building each other up? What happened?
But
Are we-
I just felt like that was so important because to ignore the fact that this is a conversation is to be incompetent of our cultural,
Right.
surrounding and the dating
Mm-hmm.
scene of which we grow up in.
Mm-hmm.
You hear all the time that black girls have attitudes and black girls are not approachable.
Why?
Right.
And
Right.
but that's not true.
It's not
Not
true.
all black girls are like that. And if there is the one black girl, you might have to dig a little deeper, wonder why she's not approachable,
Thank you.
Right.
why she's
You don't know
angry.
what. Right. You don't know what she's been through. You so quick to give up. Quit giving up. A bunch of
Right.
quitters. Don't do that.
And you know what? Let me bring up this situation real quick. It's time out for men out here being scared of a woman. Where did we get? We need to go back to the time frames of when men went up to the woman to date somebody or to ask them out.
Thank
Ooh.
you. You're a
What
natural born
happened?
hunter.
What happened to the men being able to court a woman properly? Not the woman have to do everything. I think
Thank
we've got
you.
into a society to where we forgot about the standards of dating.
Well, I'm only going to interject here because yes, men need to get back to that, but women need to start requiring that again.
Yes, true.
Women are not requiring this from men now. They're taking whatever and whatever whenever they can get it because of being scared of being lonely, of being scared of not having a man because there is a shortage of men, so they're just, I'll take whatever I can get from you. You give me the bull stuff, I'll take it.
I'll
You
counteract
know.
that. I'll counteract that with nowadays we're living in a society where men get what they want when they want it. They pick out and choose who they want. And that
Oh,
I think that's
this didn't start now, boo.
I know,
That's
but what I'm
always been a
saying
narrative.
is society, there's a lot of women out here that can't find a man that's about anything because of the fact that men have forgotten or maybe was not trained. We are living in a society where a lot of men were not raised by their fathers. Okay, I'll put that on the table. I'll put that on the table. But what I'm not going to accept is you want to expect so much out of us, but you're not willing to put nothing in. Is my thing. After you've had your say so, after you've done what you've done, after you ran through the women that you ran through, women too. Women do that to men too. So it's both ways. But it makes it harder for a woman to find a real man. And that means a lot of men that do that have a lot of growing up to do. And now we have older men going back to those ways. So now you can't even find an older man that's about his maturity.
Hmm. It's like, what is your problem? Do you have an integrity issue? That speaks a lot about yourself. I'm not about it. Don't be coming around here saying that you're this and that, and behind closed doors, you're phony.
I
I don't
think
understand.
it goes back to again a lot of what the women are accepting. if we as women too would come together and be like, no, no more of this. If you're going to be with me, you're going to exclusively be with me, and I'm not going to entertain you, especially if I find out you're with, someone else. A lot of women have gotten to this notion. They're okay with the poly, dating life, meaning, I can be exclusive with this man, but he can also have this girlfriend and I can have this guy, or, different variations of that type of a thing, um, which makes it hard for someone who just wants to be in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
Um, so again, it goes back to the standards. What are the standards for women? What are the standards for men? If men who are motivated by women don't have a standard of, oh, I need to wine and dine them to get a date or to, get their time and stuff like that, they're not going to work harder than they got to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do more for something that you don't want. You'll go in and do whatever you need to do for something you really want.
Mm-hmm.
So if women got to learn, it goes back to that conversation about women learning their worth.
Yeah.
What is my worth?
And it's the raising too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure both of y'all have seen where that father on Facebook was talking about, if your man can't do more than I do for you, you don't need him. And I feel like we need more fathers like that. I feel like if a lot of fathers, a lot of women's or girls and men's lives, there may be a change. Because believe it or not, a daughter really needs their father as much as, and even sometimes even more than their mother, for that boy training. I bet you there'll be
This
less
is true.
pregnancy.
Well, that's why the saying is, how a man treats his mother will tell you how he will treat you. How a dad treats his daughter will show him proof of how she, dates men.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part, though, because
it really is.
A lot of us are living in a time where daddies are not involved with their kids.
Exactly.
If they are involved, it's in and out. No wonder why there would be girls who are in and out of these toxic relationships, because that's all they know.
Right.
Yeah.
All they sing. Yeah. Come on now.
And it's terrible. It's like, you try to.
I know. Sorry, go ahead.
You're frozen, Mel.
So, Mill froze for a minute.
Go ahead.
But I was gonna say, I don't want men who are watching our podcast to think that we're just trying to come down on men, but we are women. We can only speak from a women's perspective. And I think me and my girls have done a good job of saying there is a flip side to a lot of these situations too. It's not just the men to blame that, women have to carry themselves a certain way. Women have to do certain things. Even when in the other podcast, when we were talking about, mothers and fathers and being single mothers or fathers, like, we just didn't give one perspective. Yeah. So in all this conversation, we realized that there are two sides to that conversation, but we are definitely coming from our perspective, being, adult Black women.
Yeah.
Who have dated, who have experienced, who have loved and lost, and, gone through many walks of life. So if you feel strongly about something that we're saying, please comment. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
By the way, just a note, we are looking to have our first guest on our next podcast. So that would be podcast 5. So if you are a male and you are looking to have your voice heard, we're looking to have you as a guest on our podcast. So please get in touch with us on our Facebooks, on our Instagrams. We have our PMJ page on YouTube, and some of you may have us on Snapchat. On Facebook, I'm Nashua Grand Maestro Cass. Maya
Big Miller.
Jamila, what are you?
I'm frozen.
Jamila is Jamila Hunter. And look, guys, look, this is real. We're not even going to sugarcoat it. You see us having a lot of technical difficulties today. And this is the way it's just going to have to be, especially considering the pandemic. So you'll have to bear with us. It happens. You know, we're sorry that there might be a little bit of glitches, but we'll all live through this. So like I said, hit us up on our pages and we'll definitely talk to you about getting you on our next podcast to have this conversation. Also, not just men, we're looking to have other guests on too. So if you're looking to be a guest, just contact us.
Yes.
Where are we at on time, guys? Like, do we got a little more time, or we hit it?
Out of over.
Okay. So real quick before we sign off, Maya, you wanted to go over your makeup. Someone voiced that they were interested in knowing what you are wearing.
Yes. So I am. Do you think she feels okay with saying her name? Well, I am. Had stated that they wanted to know makeup. So for my foundation, I use Revlon foundation color stay makeup. It's a combination. It goes on liquid and it dries matte 370. So if you like that, you're more than welcome to. I always buy my stuff at Walgreens. But my eye color, I used a different one today that I've never opened. It is called Aurora, which is more of a pressed high pigment makeup or eyeshadow. I also used one that I bought from the hair store. It's called Santee, but it's one of my favorites. Has all the colors in there. Eyeliner, I use L'Oreal, the Voluminous. It would look like this. I love this because not only does it do a straight line, but it is liquid and it dries really fast. For my eyebrows and eyelashes, I always use Total Tease CoverGirl. Total Tease. Y'all gonna laugh at me. My eyeshadow primer is the Halloween eyeshadow primer. So yes, it works. Okay, it works. But and I also use Carity for my lips, which is like a blue color. If you want to know, Carity.com. So shout out to all of our makeup companies that help make the girl beautiful. Shout out to all of you.
All right, thank you for sharing that with us, Maya, and hope whoever asks to see it is happy to get to know that. If there's any requests on something that we have worn or that you see that you like, please let us know. We'll definitely share that information with you. I'm trying to think, am I missing anything? No, I think I've hit everything. But so I'm going to be signing us off again, as I always say before we sign off on our podcast, is if you haven't been told or no one has ever told you that you are loved, know that we love you. We care. We hope you guys are out there continuing to be safe. We hope that you guys are finding enjoyment in watching our material and listening to the conversations that we have. We hope that this is provoking thoughts so that maybe you can have conversations at home, with your parents, with your friends, with your family, So we look forward to doing this again with you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Please subscribe and continue to grow this thing. We're looking to touch, many lives. Okay? Love you guys.